Hello, welcome you guys, welcome you all to my new YouTube channel, Dr. MK Physiology classes. Now come to the oogenesis part. Oogenesis, that is our main topic of discussion here today. Oogenesis. As oogenesis is, what is oogenesis? Oogenesis is nothing but the formation of ovum, formation of ovum from primordial oogonial cells, primordial oogonial cells. Oogenesis is formation of ovum from the primordial oogonial cells. These primordial oogonial germ cells will get further divided by mitosis. By mitosis, what will be formed? That is the primary oocyte. Primary oocyte will be formed. Then which things will be formed? This primary oocyte gets converted into secondary oocyte, This secondary oocyte get converted into ovum by primary oocyte. Get converted into ovum here. This primary oocyte get converted into secondary oocyte by meiosis 1, and this secondary oocyte get converted into ovum by meiosis 2. As the steps of this oogenesis are same as spermatogenesis. The steps are same. Here this primary here this meiosis 1 is arrested in this primary oocyte get arrested in prophase, in diplotin stage of prophase, and this will complete on this meiosis 1 gets completed on ovulation, just before ovulation, and this meiosis 2 gets arrested in metaphase. So here in metaphase arrest, and here diplotin stage of prophase arrest. Okay. As we all know from our previous discussion that in spermatogenesis there is no arrest like this. First of all, we have discussed in our previous class, but for the completion of the discussion, here also first polar body are released, here also polar body are also released. After the meiosis 1, here is the first polar body is released, is released, and here upon fertilization this metaphase arrest will gets completed. After this gets completed on upon fertilization, completed upon fertilization. If fertilization will happen, then only this meiosis II will gets completed. Here second polar body will be released. Here second polar body will be released. Here second polar body will be released. Now come to the chromosome number, which having this primordial oogonial cells having the chromosome number of having how much chromosome? That is of 46 chromosome. As here mitosis happening, that is equational division. That's why the chromosome number here will be also 46 number of chromosome. Here at the stage of secondary oocyte, the number of chromosome will be, the number of chromosome here will be, as meiosis I is the reduction division, that's why here chromosome number will be, secondary oocyte chromosome number will be 23x, here 46xx, here also 43xx, here also 43xx. ठीक है, secondary oocyte 23xx and the unfertilized ovum, here also the chromosome number will be 23xx. Now come to the here the first polar body. Come to the at the point of first polar body. This first polar body will also containing the chromosome number 23x, but this 23x, this first polar body, the division of the cytoplasm between this first polar body and secondary oocyte is not equal. This first polar body will get less cytoplasm. That's why the things which are vital for the living of in this are not present. That why this first polar body become non-functional and gets destroyed. Here also the same thing. Happening. The second polar body is also gets excluded. So these are the things in oogenesis. Before coming to this, for the completion of the topic, for the completion of the discussion, we have to also know the things before this. What is happening? Just look at the board. These primordial oogonial cells are from where these primordial oogonial cells are derived. These primordial oogonial cells are derived from the germ cells. These germ cells are derived from the endoderm of the yolk sac. Endoderm of yolk sac. These germ cells going to divide to which type of gonad? This will be depend on the presence of SRY gene, SRY gene, that is SRY gene, that is located on short arm of Y chromosome, that is located on short arm of Y chromosome. If this SRY gene will be present, what will happen? If this SRY gene will be present, the gonad going to form is testis. Why? This SRY gene is present on short arm of the chromosome. If this Y chromosome is present on these germ cells, the gonads going to form is the testis. Up to the 6th week of life, up to 6th week of intrauterine life, up to 6th week of intrauterine life, 6th week of intrauterine life, up to 6th week of intrauterine life, these germ cells are indifferentiated. That means at that time anyone cannot say that the baby going to form is either male baby will be formed or female baby will be formed. Up to 6th week nothing can be said. After 6th week the sex of the baby will decided by this SRY gene. If SRY gene is present on that germ cell, the gonads going to form is testis. Now if the gonad is testis, then there will be the presence of Sertoli cells and Leydig cells will be there. Sertoli cells and Leydig cells. These Sertoli cells, now what will happen if there is Sertoli cells? These Sertoli cells will secrete Mullerian inhibiting substances. Mullerian inhibiting substances. Just a minute. Here, why the testis will be formed? Because the short arm of the Y chromosome having test region, that is known as testis determining factor, or SRR region, sex related region. Now come to here. These Sertoli cells will secrete the Mullerian inhibiting substances. These Mullerian inhibiting substances, what they will do? These Mullerian inhibiting substances will prevent the formation of Mullerian duct derivative. What are the Mullerian duct derivative? Mullerian duct derivative. This Mullerian duct derivative will not be formed by these Mullerian inhibiting substances. What are those Mullerian duct derivative? What are those? Those are the fallopian tube, uterus, uterus and upper part of vagina, and upper part of vagina will not be formed. These things will not going to form. That means this SRY gene will lead to formation of male baby. These things will not be formed. Obviously, which things are formed? Which things, which the sex of the baby going to form will be male. And here also Leydig cells will also secrete, here Leydig cells also secrete testosterone. This testosterone, what they are going to do? This testosterone will, just a minute, this testosterone going to form the Wolffian duct derivative. Wolffian duct derivative are will going to form by this testosterone. What are the Wolffian duct derivative? Those Wolffian duct derivative are the seminal vas deferens, epididymis and seminal vesicle. These things will going to form by these Leydig cells by testosterone, and further this testosterone also help in formation of male external genitalia. That means this testosterone will also going to form the penis. Okay. This development of the development of these things, the development of these male and female external genitalia will visible by become apparent by 12th week of gestation, but this will not come in as external appearance, as external appearance. These cannot be differentiated up to 12 week by ultrasonography. By only ultrasonography this can be differentiated by 14th week of gestation. So now just now come to the point how this oogenesis continues. These primordial oogoneal germ cells are obviously present inside in the fetus. As we all know, the oogenesis starts during intrauterine life itself. at the 6 to 8th week of gestation. 6 to 8th week of gestation. After this 8th week of gestation, this will, after this 6th week of gestation, these primordial germ cells undergo mitosis and differentiation. This will going to form the primary oocyte. The primary oocyte having maximum number of primary oocyte would be present at the fifth month of intrauterine life. That is 6 to 7 million of primary oocyte are present. 6 to 7 million of primary oocyte are present. Here we have to know the important concept that oogenesis is a continuous process. Later on we will discuss the development of in ovarian follicle. Later on we will discuss bigger things or the further things which anything left. The maximum primary oocyte at the fifth month of intrauterine life, and these are product of mitosis happening, and at the time of birth, as oogenesis is a continuous process, these primary oocytes are in different stages of development. It will continue from the intrauterine life up to the menopause. That means what I am telling here, what I want to give message here, they are in different stages of development. That means some primary oocytes getting converted into secondary oocyte, some getting secondary oocyte to ovum, and other at the same time some primary oocytes getting converted into secondary oocyte. If this whole process going at the same time, suppose whole these primary oocytes getting converted into ovum, then what will happen? In a single cycle, in a single menstrual cycle, or in a single later on we will discuss that in every menstrual cycle there is release of only one ovum per menstrual cycle. There is release of only one ovum per menstrual cycle. Maximum primary oocyte at the fifth week of intrauterine life, and then at birth the number of primary oocyte are roughly 1 to 2 million. 1 to 2 millions of primary oocyte at the age at puberty roughly around 2 lakhs of primary oocyte will be present, and at the age of 30, at the age of 30 years of age, roughly around 26,000 of primary oocyte will be present. Primary oocyte will be present. Primary oocyte during the whole reproductive period of a female, only 400 to 500 of this primary oocyte going to mature. That means only 400 to 500 this primary oocyte are inside the ovarian follicle. That means only 400 to 500 secondary spermatocyte will only these 400 to 500 ovum will gets matured. That means there is chance of 400 to 500 pregnancy in the whole reproductive period of a female, but this is not so. Because one pregnancy will continue minimum up to 9 months. So then 9 months into, then this is not possible. So now come to the basic differences between the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Basic differences between spermatogenesis, difference between oogenesis and spermatogenesis. What are the basic difference? First difference is the age of onset. Here is the oogenesis, and here is the spermatogenesis. Age of onset. First we will give heading age of onset. Here is the arrest, and then production, and then time taken, then number of ovum or sperm produced. Age of onset. As we all know, the age of onset of oogenesis is intrauterine life. Age of onset of this oogenesis is intrauterine life. That is to 6th to 8th week of intrauterine life. This spermatogenesis will start at the time of puberty. Arrest. In this oogenesis there are two arrests. First one arrested the meiosis 1 arrest and meiosis 2 arrest. Here arrest is at prophase. Here arrest is at metaphase. Here there is no arrest. Production. That means In oogenesis, during each ovarian cycle or each menstrual cycle, only one ovum is produced. Only one ovum is produced per cycle. Only one ovum is produced per cycle. But in spermatogenesis, sperm are produced in millions in continuous. In millions in continuous. That is 6 to 7 millions per gram of the genital tissue. And here I am going to one message also, that here one primordial oogonial cells will going to develop into one ovum per cycle. Here in spermatogenesis, one primordial spermatogonial cells will give 512 spermatids. 500, this we have to know, this 512 spermatid, that means this spermatid gets converted into 512 sperms. This is also difference. The time taken of oogenesis is, this oogenesis will take for the formation of ovum, this so the time taken for oogenesis is 13 years up to menopause. That means 50 years. It may take time 13 years to 50 years. However, for the spermatogenesis, this will only take 60 days, 61 days. 61 days is the time taken for spermatogenesis. However, for the production of sperm from the spermatid, however, the time taken after the formation of sperm, this is the time for spermatogenesis. However, after production of sperm, this sperm will travel into the male genital system. That will take 30 days. That will take approx 30 days. That's why in some book it is not written, but this is the time. There is significance of these things, these 30 days. What I am going to give you message. These 30 days, if any infertile couple, that means if there is male infertility, then we will do the next sperm count after 90 days. After 90 days, that is the significance of this. The significance of this 30-day duration. Now, number of ovum or sperm produced. These things we have covered already. Number of ovum or sperm produced. Chalo, these things we have discussed earlier. Just come. One things we have left. The release of this secondary oocyte. This release of the secondary oocyte from the primary oocyte. This process is known as ovulation. This process is known as ovulation. Ovulation is not release of ovum. Not release of ovum. Okay, these things you will have to understood. Later on we will use this concept. Now come to the development of ovarian follicle. Ovarian follicle. This ovarian follicle is in general term, this ovarian follicle is also known as Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle. But whenever we will discuss, but when we are discussing these specific things, especially here, the only ovarian follicular development can be divided into this following stage. What are those? First one is the primordial follicular stage. Primordial follicular stage, then primary follicular stage, primary follicular stage, then secondary follicular stage, secondary follicular stage, then tertiary follicular stage, then tertiary follicular stage. These are the stages of the ovarian follicle. These are the stages of the ovarian follicle. Here my main aim is to form in the primary. If I am going to summarize this whole follicular development in this 4 sentence, this 4 point, then I will only write here here I have to form in primary follicular stage. What I have to form here, that is, here is granulosa cells. Here I have to form granulosa cells, and on tertiary follicular stage I have to form theca cells. These things here I have to form. So in primordial follicular stage, what I should write here, that there will be formation of pregranulosa cells, and here before the tertiary follicular stage, before theca cells, what I have to write here, pre-theca cells. These things what I have going to form here. This does not mean here I have written only theca cell. This does not mean that there will be no granulosa cells. The things will be added in this manner. The things will be added here with granulosa cells are also present here. Granulosa cells are also present here. Now come to the primordial follicular stage. What is happening in primordial follicular stage? In primordial follicular stage, what will happen? In primordial follicular stage, there will be these follicles are remain inside the ovary. What we are discussing here? We are discussing the follicular stage, the tertiary follicle. The tertiary follicle is the mature Graafian follicle that will be released from the ovary. And that ovum will get further fertilized, either fertilized or will get destroyed. Okay. The primordial follicular stage, what at this is, in this stage what will happen? The primary oocyte gets covered. This is the primary oocyte, gets covered by the Pregranulosa cells gets covered by pregranulosa cells. These are the pregranulosa cells. Pregranulosa cells. These are the pregranulosa cells, and this one is the primary oocyte. Primary oocyte. The diameter of this primordial follicle is 50 micrometer. This primary oocyte will enter into the first meiotic division. This primary oocyte will enter into the first meiotic division, and those gets arrested in prophase. Now what will happen in the primary follicular stage? In the primary follicular stage, these oocytes, these primary oocyte here, and these are the these pregranulosa cells now gets converted into granulosa cells. Here the diameter of the primary follicle is up to 200 micrometer, and the diameter of the primary oocyte here is 80 to 140 micrometer, and there will be also formation of the basement membrane or basal lamina just outside the granulosa cell. This is the basement membrane or basal lamina. Again this up to again here also what is happening here? These granulosa cells, as I am not drawing figure in correct, as drawing of mine is not correct, so I will later on include the figure from the book. I will later on will add in this picture. Now come to the here in primary follicular stage there will be the secretion of glassy material which is mucopolysaccharide in nature, that is secreted by granulosa cells. That is known as zona pellucida. The zona pellucida is nothing but this glassy material which is mucopolysaccharide in nature, that is secreted by granulosa cells, that is present between the primary oocyte between primary oocyte and granulosa cells and granulosa cells. This primary follicular stage is also in meiotic arrest, is also in meiotic arrest phase, meiotic prophase arrest phase, meiotic prophase arrest phase. In fact, this meiotic arrest prophase phase continues up to secondary follicular stage. Now come to the secondary follicular. In this secondary follicular stage, here I have to form the pre-theca cells. Actually I should not erase this, but mistakenly I have erased, as this is the size here I am forming are the same. That's why just go into the concepts which I am giving here. This is the basement membrane, this is the basement membrane, this is the basement membrane, and here on the outer side of the basement membrane there will be the formation of pre-theca cells. These are the, and there is presence of small antrum also. That's why this secondary follicular stage is also known as pre-antral follicular stage also. Pre-antral follicular stage also. Pre-antral follicular stage also. Here there will be the increase in size of this follicle. Here in secondary follicular stage, the diameter of the secondary follicle is up to 500 micrometer. Okay. This secondary follicular up to this secondary follicular stage there is meiotic arrest in prophase phase, meiotic stage in prophase phase. ठीक है. Now come to the tertiary follicular stage. Tertiary follicular stage. This tertiary follicular stage is divided further into early tertiary follicular stage, and late tertiary follicular stage. This early tertiary follicular stage is also known as antral follicular stage. And this late follicular stage is also named as Graafian follicular stage. Graafian follicular stage, as there is formation of matured ovum. Here figure will get changed because first we will discuss the early. In this early tertiary follicular stage, there will be the formation of theca cells or theca cell layer outside the secondary follicle. That there is theca interna. These theca cells have two parts. the theca interna and theca externa. Theca externa. Later on I will give you the figure. Theca externa and theca interna. This theca interna is more steroidogenic. This theca cells, theca interna cells are more steroidogenic, and this theca externa are supporting to the inner structure, supporting to inner theca interna or inner structure. Here in the early tertiary follicular stage, the granulosa cells, here in early tertiary follicular, here in this early tertiary follicular stage, these granulosa cells will there will be increase in FSH receptor in granulosa cells, that's why there will be the secretion of estrogen starts. There will be the secretion of FSH, there will be the secretion of estrogen starts from the granulosa cells in this early tertiary follicular stage. After 5 to 7 days of onset of menses, one follicle going to gets converted into this late follicular stage, that is known as Graafian follicle, follicular stage or Graafian follicle. After 5 to 7 days of onset of menses, after 5 to 7 days of onset of menses, one follicle in every menstrual cycle going to gets converted into Graafian follicle. It's converted into Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle is the dominant follicle. Here there will be increase in antrum size. Antrum size will increase and antral fluid will also gets increased. Antral fluid will also gets increased. This will pushes the oocyte to the periphery. So at this stage, this Graafian follicle gets attains maximum size and primary oocyte get converted into secondary oocyte. That is known as ovulation. Here granulosa cells gets or can be divided into this following type. What are those? Those are the antral granulosa cells. Third one is the mural granulosa cells, and second one is the Second one is the antral granulosa cells, mural granulosa cells, and cumulus granulosa cells, and cumulus granulosa cells. Cumulus granulosa cells. These antral granulosa cells are present within antrum. Antrum means within the cavity. These are highly steroidogenic. These are highly steroidogenic, and these are less steroidogenic, and these are also highly steroidogenic, steroidogenic. These cumulus granulosa cells are present outside oocyte, that means around oocyte, and these mural granulosa cells which are present along the basement membrane, and these are along the antrum. Now there is release of Graafian follicle have occurred. Graafian follicle has occurred. That means ovulation has occurred. That means here first meiotic division gets completed. That means there is formation of secondary oocyte has happened. Because this is known as ovulation. Just come here to know when ovulation will occur. In normal menstrual, if the normal menstrual cycle is of 28 day, then at the 14th day ovulation will occur. This is the first day of the menstrual cycle, and this is the 28th day of menstrual cycle. At the 14th day of menstrual cycle ovulation will occur. The length of this luteal phase, this is known as luteal phase, and this is known as, this luteal phase is constant, which is of 14 day duration, and this is known as follicular phase. Later on we will discuss these things on our menstrual cycle class. Why, what things going to we are discuss here. Now ovulation has occurred. First that means release of ovum from the Graafian follicle, release of secondary oocyte, release of Graafian follicle happened here. Here the release of secondary oocyte has happened here. Either this secondary oocyte gets converted into ovum only upon fertilization. If the fertilization will occur, then this ovum will get matured, and that is also known as functional ovum, functional or matured ovum, functional or matured ovum. In fact, this embryo, in fact, this, why this is after fertilization, this is also this is still known as ovum. In fact, you will study later on the embryo up to 8 week is also known as ovum in some medical literature. I have seen that up to 8 weeks generally it is known as embryo, but in some book I have seen that it is also known as ovum in some books I have seen. Now come to the fact, if this ovum gets fertilized with sperm, if there is penetration of sperm, then there will be the formation of zygote, This ovum and sperm fertilization takes place in the ampulla of fallopian tube, and this will go into various cell stages of division: 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage, 16 cell stage. This 16 cell stage is known as the morula. In fact, this is the stage in which this zygote will enter into the uterus. Morula will enter into the uterus, but the implantation occurs in the blastocyst stage. Implantation occurs. Implantation of this zygote, implantation of this blastocyst will occur in the posterior wall of the uterus. These things you have to remember, these things, that implantation occurs at which stage. Implantation occurs at blastocyst stage, and where fertilization occur? Ampulla of the fallopian tube. Here fertilization occurs. Ampulla of the fallopian tube, and morula, at which stage this zygote will enter into the uterus at the morula stage. Okay. So to this after that implantation occurs. After the implantation, another story will going to continue, that is the formation of, that will lead to continuation of pregnancy. Further things we will deal in our pregnancy class or in your gynecology class. ठीक है. Now come to the what will happen if fertilization will not occur. If fertilization will not occur, what will happen? this secondary oocyte released from here, that got destroyed, the up to the period of fertilization after ovulation, that is up to 12 to 24 hours after ovulation. The fertilizable period of this secondary oocyte is 12 to 24 hours after ovulation. If fertilization will not occur, then this Graafian follicle gets converted into corpus hemorrhagicum. That means this Graafian follicle is filled with blood, and later on this corpus hemorrhagicum will get converted into corpus luteum. Here this corpus luteum, this one is red in color. Here the formation of corpus luteum, this is yellow in color. This is due to the presence of lipid and keratin inside this corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum further gets converted into corpus albicans. That is white in color. Now come to the maximum activity of this corpus luteum is seen up to this. The maximum activity of this corpus luteum can be seen up to the maximum activity of this corpus luteum is seen in 8th day after ovulation. That means 22nd day of the cycle. What are the functions of the corpus luteum? Now come to what are the functions of the corpus luteum. As we all know, this corpus luteum are the main source of the progesterone, estrogen, relaxin and inhibin. As this progesterone is important for making environment for implantation of the zygote, making preparation for implantation or for growing of the child. This will make proper environment for the uterus for the growing of child. This progesterone this maximum activity of this corpus luteum is the maximum activity of corpus luteum. If the ovum will not fertilized or secondary oocyte will not fertilized, then the activity of corpus luteum stops. Activity of corpus luteum will be lost will be lost if the egg is not fertilized on 12 to 14 days, 12 to 14 days after ovulation, 12 to 14 days after ovulation, after ovulation, 12 to 14 days, that means upon 26th to 28th day, 26 to 28th day, here the action of corpus luteum will gets fed. Those corpus luteum gets converted into corpus albicans. If fertilization will happen, what will happen to this corpus luteum? This corpus luteum will continue the secretion of progesterone. This will hold the pregnancy. This will hold the pregnancy up to 8th week of gestation, 8th week of gestation, up to 8th week of gestation, and after that placenta will secrete. After that placenta will secrete estrogen, placenta will secrete progesterone, and the action of corpus luteum will taken over by the placenta, Okay. Later on we will discuss the regulation of follicular development and the remaining figure portion of that figure part of that follicular development I will give you in short video class. Okay. So very thank you to all of you. Just enjoy whatever query put in my, later on I will give you that where you will put your queries. I will give you the platform. You may comment in the comment section also.